Peter Göbel. His personal road log reads almost like James Bond's. Paris-Dakar, Rallye-San Remo, Silvretta Classic. With both speed and stamina through thick and thin, alongside Walter Röhrl in Porsche, Matthias Kahler in Skoda and Franz Echter in an MAN race truck. 5 times German Rally Champion, the most successful co-driver in the history of the German Rally Championship. Welcomed as a regular guest in the winner's circle. 6 times overall victory at the AVD Histomonti. 3 times overall victory at the Silvretta Classic. Twice overall victory at the Silvretta E-Auto Rally. 3-time overall victory at the Young Timer Tour of the German Autozeitung. And twice overall victory at the Sachsen Classic. As owner of the Plus Rally Agency, he plays a decisive role in organising such old-timer rallies as the Hamburg-Berlin Classic, the Bodensee Classic and the Sauerland Classic. In addition, he enjoys great esteem as a motor journalist. Using his personal experience from around 500 rallies, he has deeply inspired the Series 917 Sinn Rally chronographs. Our guest today, live and in colour, a great welcome to Peter Göbel.
Herr Göbel, ich freue mich, dass Sie...
Mr. Göbel, I'm so pleased you've come to Frankfurt to visit us here at Sinn, and it's a great honour. The yellow Porsche you came in seems to be an older model. There is certainly a special story about it?
Yes, even a very special story. This is the 1981 model. It's the car I drove in with Walter Röhrl in the Rallye Costa Brava in 2009. It was part of the historic Rally Europe Championship, a fast rally with historic cars, with overall helmet and, last but not least, it was or is actually the last winning car Walter Röhrl drove. That's always the case with a 2-time rally champion. The first car is very important and the last one is very important. Röhrl won his last international rally with this car. I was honoured to sit next to him as co-driver. It was a thrilling rally, around Lorette Mar. We even had your watch with us, not just on our wrists, but also right in front of us on the hood. And it was really a very thrilling rally. There was an Italian there with very, very strong cars. He even told us that the car had more engine size than allowed. The Italian had the courage to tell that to Röhrl. And then it became a matter of us being first, then him being first, and shortly before the finish line, he really was first, and it started to rain. And Röhrl is known as an extremely good driver in rain, and he then took an umbrella from our service people and marched over to the Italian and said, "Watch it, my friend, now we're putting on the right tires and are going to drive you down." But what he didn't know was that we didn't have any rain tires with us, because we hadn't reckoned with rain in Spain. So we waited long enough for him to drive out of the service area, and of course we didn't switch tires because we didn't have any. But he got so nervous that he smashed himself into a cliffside on the penultimate lap, and so he was out, and Röhrl simply thought, if you can't win on your own merits with your engine, then you simply have to win tactically, and he was really clever doing that. It was just grand, and of course we won by a wide margin. Röhrl really enjoyed that victory because the other guy was not doing the right thing with that engine. Great for me, the overall from the last win, the car from the last win, it's just wonderful.
It doesn't just have a physical value, it has an emotional one.
You bet. At rallies, the car was of course well known very quickly. There's a model of it in 1 to 43, in 1 to 18 exactly, as it drove in Spain back then. And the fans collect everything, of course, from the most well-known rally driver in Germany, and perhaps the world. He was voted driver of the millennium. Whatever there is from him, it's collected. And if it's the winning car, it's doubly collected. That is why this is a very, very special car.
Deswegen ist das schon ein sehr, sehr, sehr besonderes Auto.
Second question, what was your highest speed to date with a sports car?
That's a good question. It's a bit relative, meaning that because I once drove with Walter Röhrl a bit over 300 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn, but the fastest, as far as feeling the fastest, was along the gravel forest road with a rally car at 242 kilometers an hour, and that was fast.
Did your back survive it?
My back wasn't the problem. It goes by so fast, with a tree standing right along the road. That would have been the end if we'd hit one of them. Driving among them was really spectacular.
Mr. Göbel, I'd like to show you this chronograph. We have the stop function located this time at 12 o'clock. And here you can start, stop, and here reset. And so you don't mix that up, we have hours. With the watch you can stop up to 12 hours.
Yes.
And we've even written that on it. Even though we sell internationally, we've allowed ourselves to write it in German.
Indeed.
Apart from that, we have a power reserve indicator on this watch at 12 o'clock, so you can see how much the watch is wound. And the special thing here is, of course, the tachymeter scale that runs up to 500 kilometers per hour here. So that certainly covers the entire sports car range. So, of course, you know how this works, especially for you. You drive a distance of 1 kilometer and stop the time, and then you can read here how fast you drove it. Moreover, we've made the watch out of high-strength titanium and done so at our manufacturing facility in Glashütte. We manufactured the case there too. We were able to produce technically demanding cases there. The band fastening is special. Normally, a watch has 4 horns. It's round and has 4 horns to clasp onto the band. I have the same here. But here, we've done this a bit differently to make it easier to use. It also looks better, and the watch wears on the wrist better than with horns. On top, we need a bit more room, and that's where we've made the watch more oblique, which also helps make it easier to read on the arm. You don't have to turn the watch so far forward. So, those are the basic functions of this watch.
May I turn it on?
I just wanted to say.
Let's trade. I find a wide band good right from the start.
Of course, there are various versions of the band.
But this would fit, and it already looks really nice. And the pushing function is top of the line for me because I have a good push piece. I don't have to turn the hand like this. It goes more quickly when driving. When you have your hand on the steering wheel, you only have to do this. It's easier to touch. And the nice thing here is it doesn't matter whether you're left or right-handed. You can wear the watch left or right. You always press on the top. It fits perfectly every time.
For right and left-handed people, if I've understood you properly.
Absolutely, absolutely. With other watches, it's sometimes a bit more difficult because when I'm holding my hand like this on the steering wheel, and here's the stopwatch, the push piece here in my hand, that's a problem I don't have here at all. Although I'm a fan of very large watches, I have to say this one's not too small. I can read everything off it very well. The small white dials are clearly recognizable. The hands on it are also easy to see, and this oblique diagonal, I just find that makes it very special. I've honestly never seen anything like it before in classic chronographs. Fantastic, because I don't have to turn my hand so much, which is really nice. Something you see at once, this oblique shape is better.
Although it's so few angles of degree, but it really helps.
It's better at once, right away. Well, normally if you're driving a car and you glance at it like this, you always have to turn the watch a little more, turn the arm a little more. You don't have to here. It's a feature I find really quirky. First, it catches the eye that the push piece is there. So when I'm sitting across from someone, he'll always look over and say, "What is that? Do you have your watch on backwards?" I can answer no, because it makes sense just this way. This is how stopwatches are. It was like that back then with PE teachers, and on all rally stopwatches, the push pieces are like this. And the counter pressure is there too. Whether you wear it left or right, when I wear 2 watches, it's no problem at all, because it works in both cases exactly alike. And the armband is great, yeah, and it's extremely light.
I have to say, here with this Rallye chronograph, the dial goes most of the way right out to the edge. That makes the watch larger, makes it appear larger. While up here, we have retracted it a bit. That has something to do with ease of use. And that's why it seems a bit smaller. The watch is, I believe, just 1 millimeter smaller than this one, so it has 42 millimeters. But the dial isn't as large.
Yeah, and the small hands are easy to read because they're white. If they were black, it would be a bit harder. But this way it's just great because I see at once whatever is happening and where. And the ratcheting is fine too. There are enough numbers on it, so you know exactly where you are.
I'm so glad that you feel so positive about it.
Yeah, sure. Very, very nice. I think the features are great because it's completely different. The diagonal is different, the push piece location is different, the band fastening is different. Yeah.
Yes, we once had, with this watch, we had located the push pieces on the left, but you told us you always wear two watches during a rally. And I have to say, I've done the same as a co-driver, and it's true that a watch makes pressure points on the back of the hand.
A watch presses down on the back of my hand, and of course at the end of the day when you get into a car, you bang against something sometimes and something stupid happens. I forget to wind it. Then it's always good to have a second one on hand because the time simply is very important sometimes. Especially in our sport when we're on the road in a rally car, it's actually always a matter of time. I just do this and I already see the watch. With that one I have to turn my hand a bit more. So for me it's just great. And the screw fastening for the armband is a good idea because I believe it's just a bit cleaner than with those other ones. So that if anything happens I can just take it out, clean it, and that is fantastic. I really like this watch. You've done well.
Thank you.
The crown is probably also screwed on.
The crown is screwed on, screw fastened, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you lose your way, get off the road and fall in a river, you can go down to 200 metres. Nothing happens to the watch. It'll survive down to 200 metres.
So pretty safe.
Waterproof.
Okay, I already see after 15 seconds when I'm driving 250 kilometers an hour, the hand has to point exactly to the right. I can see that right away. It is astonishing. It works really well. When I'm driving down the Autobahn, I do that and compare whether my speedometer works right. Sometimes cars have ones that don't work all that precisely.
They often run fast.
Yeah, they often run fast and they display a higher speed. Probably so you don't hit the radar trap you were just talking about. That's why I always gauge the blue signs along the Autobahn. They're always exactly right, and then I just go bang, wait 1 kilometer, and then I know exactly how fast I'm driving. That's a lot of fun. This is a really nice function, one you perhaps don't need all the time, but when you do, it's great.
The watch is limited to 300.
Yeah. In the meantime, this watch scene has a lot of fans who also buy because it's limited. That's just like with the model cars in our sector. The model of the Porsche standing in front of the door, there are 200 of them, and it is impossible to get such a car. It's become very, very expensive. You have one in the showcase, I know, and that's why I always find limited especially good. And the fewer there are of it, the more special it is. It would be really nice if you could choose your number yourself. I mean by that, we had start number 2 with Walter Röhrl, and I would take the watch with the number 2. Then it would not just be limited, it would also be special because it would match the race car.
I accept the challenge.
Yeah.
Mr. Göbel, it's been so nice having you visit us here in Frankfurt.
I was glad to come, and of course because of such a presentation, 3 times gladly.
Thank you for being here.
Very happy to.